Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Easy Chat English Podcast. I'm Amelia, and I'm here with my wonderful co-host, Ethan. How are you today?
Hi, Amelia. I'm doing great, thanks. Really excited about today's episode. We're diving into a topic that I think everyone loves, vacations.
Absolutely. Who doesn't love taking some time off, right? A vacation is just the perfect way to recharge your batteries and get away from it all. Speaking of which, when was your last vacation, Ethan?
Oh, my last vacation was just a couple of months ago. I went for a road trip. I spent a long weekend driving through scenic routes and just enjoying the open road.
That sounds amazing. I actually had a little getaway last month, too. But I went on a relaxing beach vacation, and it was such a nice break from the daily grind. We'll get into all of that today and share more about our experiences. So, listeners, get comfy and maybe even grab a notepad, because we'll also be sharing some useful vocabulary along the way. So, let's start by talking about different types of vacations. There's so much variety out there. You've got relaxing beach holidays, city breaks, family trips, road trips, and even staycations where you just chill at home. Ethan, what's your favorite type of vacation?
Oh, that's a tough one because I love so many. But I think if I had to choose, I'd say city breaks. Just spending a few days exploring a new city, trying out the local food, and doing a bit of sightseeing. I recently went to Paris, and it was such an adventure. Have you ever been to Paris, Amelia?
Oh, yes, I have. Paris is a dream. I loved walking around the city and visiting all the famous tourist attractions like the Eiffel Tower and the Louvre. But for me, when it comes to vacations, I prefer beach vacations. There's nothing better than relaxing on a tropical beach, soaking up the sun, and listening to the sound of the waves.
That sounds amazing. Beach vacations are so relaxing. Do you have a favorite beach destination?
I'd have to say the Maldives. It's like a tropical paradise. White sand, crystal clear water, and those little bungalows right over the water. It was a once-in-a-lifetime experience for me.
Wow, the Maldives is on my bucket list. I'll have to plan a trip there soon. But not every vacation has to be far away or expensive. Sometimes a staycation, staying home and just taking a break from work or daily responsibilities, can be just as refreshing.
Exactly. Staycations can be a great way to relax without the stress of travel. Plus, you can explore your local area or just enjoy some quiet time at home.
Whether it's a city break, a beach vacation, or a staycation, there's a type of vacation for everyone. What's your favorite type of vacation, listeners? Let us know in the comments.
Now that we've talked about the types of vacations, let's move on to how to plan one. Personally, I like to research destinations ahead of time. I read travel blogs, look at reviews, and, of course, compare prices. What about you, Ethan? How do you plan your vacations?
I'm similar. I love planning everything in advance. I usually start by choosing the destination, then I book flights and accommodation. I try to find budget-friendly options, but I also like staying in comfortable places. If I'm planning a family trip, I'll look for an all-inclusive package. It's easier when everything, including meals and activities, is already taken care of.
That's a smart idea. All-inclusive packages can really make things easier. I remember when I went to Japan, I spent a lot of time researching the best places to stay, but it was all worth it. I found an amazing little guest house in Kyoto. It was budget-friendly and located right in the heart of the city. I could easily walk to all the major tourist attractions.
That sounds fantastic. For me, I like to create a travel itinerary. I'm one of those people who enjoys planning each day's activities, but I also leave a little room for spontaneity. You never know when you'll find a hidden gem that wasn't part of the original plan.
Yes, that's key. Being flexible is important. You never know when your plans might change or when you'll discover something unexpected that you want to check out. Sometimes the best parts of a vacation are the things you didn't plan for.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, next up is one of my favorite parts of the podcast, sharing personal stories. So, Ethan, can you tell us about a vacation experience that stands out for you?
Oh, I have so many, but one that really stands out was a trip to Thailand. I remember everything felt like an adventure. We got to ride elephants, explore ancient temples, and even tried some street food that was way out of my comfort zone. One night we got caught in a huge rainstorm, but instead of ruining the day, it actually became a fun memory. We ended up dancing in the rain and laughing the whole time. It was an unexpected adventure for sure.
That sounds absolutely amazing. I love when the unexpected turns into the best part of the trip. One of my favorite vacation stories is from my trip to New Zealand. I was driving along the coast and I accidentally took a wrong turn. Instead of panicking, I just went with it and ended up discovering this little hidden beach with the most stunning views I've ever seen. Sometimes those off-the-beaten-path moments become the most cherished memories.
Oh, absolutely. It's often those little surprises that make the trip memorable. And they make great stories too.
Exactly, and for our listeners, remember that these stories also come with many useful expressions. And don't worry if you didn't catch them all. We'll list them in the episode notes as well. Now, let's talk about some of the best destinations we've visited. So, Ethan, what's the best destination you've ever visited and why?
That's a hard question because every place has its charm. But I think one of the best was Iceland. The natural beauty there is like nothing I've ever seen. Geysers, waterfalls, the northern lights. It's like stepping into another world. Plus, the locals were so friendly and welcoming.
Iceland sounds incredible. For me, one of the best destinations was Japan. The mix of ancient tradition and modern life is just fascinating. Plus, the food is amazing. Sushi, ramen, you name it. And then there's the technology, the temples, the cherry blossoms. I could go on forever.
Japan is definitely on my bucket list. And both Iceland and Japan are great examples of destinations that offer something for everyone. You can find tourist hotspots like the Blue Lagoon in Iceland or the Shibuya Crossing in Tokyo, but there are also hidden gems if you look a bit deeper.
Exactly. Okay, now let's move on to some travel tips for our listeners. So, Ethan, what's your top tip for travelers?
I'd say pack light. It's tempting to bring a lot of stuff, but the lighter your suitcase, the easier it is to get around. I also like to keep some space for souvenirs.
Great tip. I'd say my best advice is to get travel insurance. You never know when something might go wrong, so it's better to be safe than sorry. Also, I always recommend trying the local cuisine wherever you go. You can learn so much about a culture through its food.
I agree. And speaking of food, trying local dishes is one of the highlights of traveling for me. Also, don't forget to plan for currency exchange if you're traveling abroad.
I hope those tips help our listeners with their next vacation plans. Now, let's talk about why vacations are so important. Vacations are more than just a fun break from work, right? They're essential for well-being.
Exactly. Taking time off helps you relax, unwind, and recharge your batteries. It's so important for mental health. I know when I come back from a vacation, I feel refreshed and ready to take on the world again.
Same here. A vacation can give you that much-needed work-life balance. It's not just about taking a break from work, but also disconnecting from the stress of everyday life. Plus, travel can broaden your horizons. Seeing new places and meeting new people can be really inspiring.
Absolutely. And even a short getaway can have a big impact on your stress levels and overall happiness.
So true. Vacations are definitely a key to maintaining well-being. Now, let's wrap up with some final thoughts. So, to wrap up, we've talked about the different types of vacations, how we plan our trips, and even shared some memorable experiences. We hope you've picked up some useful vocabulary and travel tips along the way.
And don't forget to share your own vacation stories with us. We love hearing from our listeners.
That's right. And before we go, we've got one final question for you. If you could go anywhere for your next vacation, where would it be? Let us know in the comments.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you next time.